Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. This is Cassie. Today we're going to be playing with the Pink and Main April kit. This is called Lemon Twist. I love it, and as far as I know, it's still available. So I'm showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and do all my stamping ahead of time. I love to do that. So I'm just stamping down with some black black ink. This is the Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm twisting my cardstock to get more, and then I have 4 of them total, I think. And then I'm going to stamp down the first layer. That first layer is going to be with some Shooting Star Simon Hurley Create ink. I'm going to take my next color. This color is called Over the Moon. And it looked like I was just stamping it right down over the top of that lemon, but I'm aiming for the edges. This isn't very, it's very subtle. It's not very dramatic. I will end up changing that, and you'll see here in a bit. But we're also going to pick up the pace because otherwise we'll be here a while. So yeah, we'll keep that lemon where it is, and then we can put all of our pieces right back in there and stamp those down. So once again, I did that, I guess it was Slippery When Wet. It wasn't Over the Moon. This next color I'm bringing in is called Guppy. That's where you're going to see a little bit more drama, and I love that. So we're going to flip our lemon, and we'll do it on that one as well. Next, we'll bring in that centerpiece for the lemon, and we're only going to ink this up with that Shooting Star one time. And then we're going to move on to our leaves. Our leaves are going to only use the color Fake Plant by Simon Hurley Create. And we're going to stamp those down one time. And I'm not really super concerned about whether or not I get good coverage that first time, because I know that I am going to kind of do a little concentrated stamping for my second using the Fake Plant. I like these inks because they do layer nicely on top of each other. So you'll see there are some areas where it's very, very light, and I'm kind of aiming for the edges here, and I'll stamp that down, and you'll see that it does get a little darker on some areas. So we'll do that for all those lemons, and then I have, of course, the little berries that are in there. We're doing that with some traffic cone. Now that those are all stamped, we're going to run this through our die cutting machine with the matching dies. I just love doing that, and check it all out. Then we have all those ready to just start going crazy with some cards. For our first card, we're going to use the embossing folder. I love this embossing folder, and you'll notice I have that very light blue cardstock that came in the kit. I am going to make a tri-fold card. So I'm going to cut this into 2 A2 size cards. So those measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. I'll pull in my score buddy so that I can score those down at the 4 1/4 mark. So that will make, like I said, 2 A2 size cards. We're going to combine these. Like I said, this is going to be a tri-fold, basically a flap card. You'll see what I'm talking about if you're not sure as of yet what I'm talking about. But there they are, 2 ready to go, and they're going to fold together like that. I will have to trim them down, and we'll get to that. We'll talk about that more when we get to it. But follow the instructions on your die cutting machine to get the embossing folder to run through there just fine. I used a circle die cut, and now I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine right over the top of that. I wanted there to be a little bit of an opening, so you'll see. And then I'm going to bring in some mint tape to go over the edge. I don't want the ink to go beyond what we embossed. And you can't see it very well there, but you'll notice now. I love doing that with embossing folders. Taking an ink pad and lightly rubbing that over the top of what you've just embossed will bring that forward and give it so much texture. And that color that I'm using is called No Diving. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it looks like tile. I love it. All right, so now I'm going to have to trim off just a hair. I mean, we're barely trimming anything off of that piece because that's going to be in the inside there. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side because that's going to be on the inside as well. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. So once I close that, everything closes perfectly. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere that back panel to the other back panel. And then we'll have this really fun card. Yes, that uses a full sheet of cardstock, but I don't care, not when it's something cool like this. Check that out. So it'll close, and then you'll be able to see right through it. And now we'll take 2 of those lemons, and we'll line those around that circle. I just thought it was fun to do it this way. Originally, I had a plan in my head that I'd have the sentiment on the inside, you could see right through. But then I thought, you'll see how this card evolves, but I love that. And the lemons with that blue background just really, really pop. So now we're going to do all of our sentiments. I stamped all those lemons. Now we're going to stamp all of our sentiments, and I'll end up having extras, but I'd rather have extras than have to pull everything out again and stamp it again. So I've got some sentiment stock. That's by Pear Blossom Press, and I am going to ink up my sentiments using some juicy embossing ink, and then cover that with some detail white embossing powder. And then I'll heat set those until those are smooth and melted, but I will fill this entire sheet of sentiment stock with sentiments. And then the next step after those are all done is I'm going to pull in that matching die, and we'll die cut all of them out. I love that there's matching dies for the sentiments. So there they are. Now we can just pick lemons and pick sentiments for all of our cards that we're going to make today. All right, I'm going to glue that down just on those edges. And then our front is almost done. So you can see right through. And originally I was thinking, where am I going to put that sentiment? And I decided, well, why don't we just pull in another lemon? And then we'll have a scene on the inside here. So we'll glue this little bunch of lemons down below, and then we'll glue this sentiment right over the top of it. So I suppose it really doesn't matter that you can see through the card, but I do like it. So now I'll bring in the enamel dots. And we're going to do the orange ones because those just go so well with the little orange berries. And I'll use my reverse tweezers to pick those off of our sheet. It just makes it easy to pick them off and then put those enamel dots down. I love my reverse tweezers for so many reasons. And this one was actually in a kit one time, so love it. But it is available, so if you are in need of reverse tweezers, I'll have it linked down below. But check it out, there's our first card, and I love how that turned out. If you watched the unboxing, you'll remember that I had said I definitely have to watercolor. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm using that anti-static powder tool on some watercolor paper, and I'm going to ink up my lemons with some juicy embossing ink. And because you can't see it very well there, I'm going to ink it up again. You know, this is kind of the hope and pray that you made sure that you stamped it well on some textured watercolor paper. And I did. It also helps that those are a little bit thicker lines on those lemons. I love that. It just makes it that much easier. I covered that with some detail white embossing powder, the stuff I used for our sentiments, and then I'm just going to heat set this until that's smooth and melted. And you're not going to be able to see it. So I'll put my colors up on my glass mat, and then I'm going to paint this using a Spectrum Noir crystal pen. I love doing that. It adds this shimmer to it, and it's just a fun way to do it. So I'm grabbing those colors. Those are the same colors that I stamped my lemons down with earlier. And I'll put down a fine wash of our color because that's pretty much how watercolor works. You're going to want to work in layers. And so I'm squeezing my pen a little bit just to get a little bit more of that shimmer in there and a little bit more of the liquid from the pen. But this is great. I love using these pens for that. And then I'll bring in a darker color, and I'm going to let the water do the work, just kind of going back and forth. The wetter it is, the more that color will seep, but I will bring in that lighter color and blend the edges just a tiny bit more, and then even bring in a little bit more of that darker color and let it do its thing. But I'm so happy with this so far. And as I paint, you'll see things being revealed. There's our fake plant, and we'll do a light wash on all of our leaves with that. It's just a fun way to do it. Fun way to color. And I wish that you could see the shimmer in real life here or on the camera, because in real life it is so shimmery. So yeah, we'll just keep filling in all of those leaves. And I will come back in after this dries and add some more of that fake plant. If I just add it right on top of what's still wet, you won't be able to see that depth of the color. Bringing in some of that traffic cone for our little berries. And then I'm going to bring in the no diving and go around our lemon and drag that color out. Now I highly suggest working in small sections because this will dry quickly, and then it will be hard to pull that color out. So just work in small sections, and then you can easily pull that color a little bit more. I'm not going to show you all of this because I kind of just got into coloring and it goes off the screen a bit, but I'm going to go all around those lemons and you'll see what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to bring in that green again and check out that shimmer. Mama likey. All right, I trimmed that down, And I have a piece of pattern paper trimmed down as well. I didn't show you that because I still have my camera zoomed in. Again, I was in create mode and wasn't paying attention. So now I want to bring in some of the sequins from our kit, and I'll just put a few of those down. I love that there's some different colors and they're so iridescent. It just goes with the shimmer from our Spectrum Noir crystal pen so well. And then I'll pop those down just using this little pickup stick and some liquid glue. My sentiment's already attached as well. And this is actually already attached to the card base, which was some of the blue cardstock that came in the kit. I love your zest for life. Isn't that fun? And that black sentiment with the white just really makes it pop. So there is card number 2. Love how that one turned out as well. Moving on to card number 3, we're going to make a slim line, and I love how these pattern papers can line up so easily on a slim line that they look seamless, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take these 2 patterns. We're going to trim this paper down 4 inches. I'm going to take those 4 inches, and then the other 7 inches will be for our card base. I won't trim this down just yet because I do want to use a die. So we'll take our liquid glue, and the easiest way is to just put it all over that 4 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. And then I can just attach down our pattern paper here and trim the excess off with my guillotine trimmer in a little bit and not worry about glue being attached to any of those pieces. But look at that. It looks seamless. It looks like one giant piece of paper. I'll bring in the stitched dies, those stitched slimline dies, and then we'll run that through our die cutting machine. And then I'm going to bring in one more die. It's the beautiful slimline you'll see here in a bit. I want that Hello Beautiful because I love it. It just looks so good on a slim line. And who doesn't want to be called beautiful, right? So I used the words using some white cardstock, and then our shadow with some of the blue cardstock that came in the kit. And I'm just going to attach this down using some liquid glue. And then our E, L, and L, those are separate. So I'm going to bring in my reverse tweezers again. Those babies are so handy. And that way we can hold it, put some glue on it, and attach those down. I highly recommend, if you get this die and you're using it, that you actually attach down your 2 L's before your E. It just makes it a little bit easier. At least that's what I've found. I did not do that. But yeah, so do it that way, and then you should have a little less problem. Not that I was having problem, but you know what I'm saying. It'll line up easier. Let's just say that. So our card base was 7 inches by 8.5 inches, so we're scoring that at 3.5 inches. And you'll notice I have those 2 strips up at the top. We're going to take one of those and attach it to the inside. That will draw the outside to the inside, and everything will be so coherent. And then just we'll attach that down with some liquid glue. You could even add one of the lemons if you wanted to, but I'm going to save those for our final project. I'll attach down our panel to our card base. And then as you see, I have one of the lemons and that Hello Beautiful. So we'll take the lemon and we'll put that down first. And you could use foam tape on any of these parts, but I'm just going to leave it as is because I am going to add dimension. You'll see here in a second when I decide to bring in some glossy accents. I love using glossy accents over big, bold sentiments. It makes them pop even more. But before I do that, I figure I better get those enamel dots down. I'm going to use the yellow this time. I figured I better do that before I use the crystal or the glossy accents, because if I tried to do it first, I'd end up with my hands in some glossy accents, and nobody wants that. So I'll just take a few of those enamel dots and put those down. And I'm telling you, you are going to be able to make cards for days with this kit. And I love the color palette so much. I said that in the unboxing, but I just can't get over it. Even watching the video, editing it while I'm watching, it's just making my heart so happy. So there we have those glossy accents, and we're just going to go over the entire, both words. And then when that dries, it'll be nice and shiny and just beautiful. So there you have it. That's card number 3. And I'm so happy with how that turned out as well. So for our final project, we are going to be making tags. So I'm bringing in this tag die. I'll have it linked down below. And I'm just going to run some of those various pieces through my die cutting machine over some pattern paper and some of our cardstock. And then I'll attach those down. I have enough to make 4. I figured I had 4 lemons. Let's make 4 tags. And then I love that blue stripe on that yellow. So nice. And then I have these little pieces. We'll add this topper to our blue cardstock and then attach that piece down to that beautiful scalloped tile piece that we cut out. Oh, those just make my heart happy. I love having tags for so many reasons. So you can add these to a card front, super easy peasy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yes, every pun intended. And then you have another card, or attach these to a gift or whatnot. I did use the little circle die to cut out the notch for our twine that we're going to use. But now I'm just using some liquid glue to attach down our lemons. You could use foam tape. You've got options here. And I like that those are hanging off the edge at the bottom. And then I decided to use Squeeze the Day because I thought those would be great for birthday, or just because if you want to just give a little gift to somebody, like a little hostess gift. I'm always having to do little hostess gifts, so these are great for me. And like I said, they'd be great for birthday as well because you could attach them to a little birthday bag, maybe make it like a lemon theme. Wouldn't that be cute? Get some little lemon tea towels or something. Oh, I'm getting so many ideas, I'm telling you. So yeah, so we've got Squeeze the Day on all of those, and I am going to have some of those sentiments left over. I'll just keep that all together because this is not the last time I'm using this kit, that's for sure. I'm going to grab some twine that's sitting on my desk, and we'll cut down 4 pieces that'll be about the right size. And then what I'm going to do is take one of those pieces for each one. I'll fold that in half, and then we'll stick that through the back of our tag, and then put that right through our loop again so everything's attached. And then I like to put a little knot right at the top, and I'll do that for all 4. But I don't stop there. I'm going to bring in those sequins and put a few sequins on each tag because why not, right? Oh, this just makes me happy. Those bright lemony, well, lemon images and the lemon color and the blue. It just does something for my spirit. So there are our tags. I'm so happy with how those turned out as well. And I have another idea for this kit, and if I have time before the end of the month, I will definitely share that with you. But oh, don't you love it? All right, so let's take a look at all the projects that I made for you today. I would love to know which one was your favorite. If you had a favorite, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section down below, because that is, as I always say, one of my favorite parts about playing with these kits is hearing what you guys think. Which ones are your favorites? So yeah, if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye, everybody.